Hello and welcome to the Small Business Cheerleader podcast. I'm Nicola Willis from NW Marketing, and I'm joined today by the gorgeous Lala from Lala Group. How are you today?
Hey, gorgeous. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, awesome. We have done Instagram Live before, and we know we can talk forever.
We can.
So why not do a podcast episode and talk about the thing that we love, not the most, but pretty close to it, which is branding for businesses.
Yes.
It's something that is an important value-driven thing for small businesses. We need you to know what it's all about and the best way for you to get your business involved in it. So we're going to talk through 3 key points when it comes to branding for your business. And Lala is the go-to with Lala Design, and she would be able to give you those tips over the years of dealing with small businesses. So fill us in. Firstly, introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are, which is only a few. Let us know what Lala's all about.
Okay, so I am the CEO of the Lala Group, which houses 3 businesses at the moment. It may house more if I keep going the way I'm going. So I've had Lala Design, which is a wedding and event stationery specialist. That's what we do. We've had that for 20 years. Lala for Business, I've had coming up to 2 years now, and that is where I do business coaching, speaking, and also my branding and design agency for businesses. And the Creative Republic I've had for 6 years. That is an e-com business that purely sells photographic backdrops. And that was created because I needed backdrops for our own products. Couldn't find what I wanted. So I decided to make them and started selling them. And that just ticks along nicely. So they're the 3 that I have running at the moment. Yeah.
Awesome. It's amazing. And the backdrop,
all based on pretty things.
Yeah, the backdrop is amazing because I've seen those as well, going through all of your businesses, and I love it. And even like here in our office, when we were looking for something to just do a quick thing, it's really hard to get anything to look nice. And when I see your stuff and you're able to take flat lays and little products, it's amazing. So little things like that, like you said, you couldn't find what you wanted, so you just made your own. And then
it wasn't easy to find them, but to create them, it took so many different types of print methods and all sorts of things to get it so that when it looked like through the camera, it was right. It didn't have reflectiveness. Things look real, so you didn't have to lug around a chopping board or a slab of marble or anything else like that. So we go through, even when we just released the solid color range, I just released 54 different solid colors. It took 5 test prints of each color to figure out which ones they were and then name them properly and then tweak them so that they're right before I release them to the public.
Yeah. So that's where the quality comes in, because then you know if you've got them, all the hard work's been done. You can now just do your stuff, and that's amazing. But that is a testimony to you again in being in the industry for that long and knowing what people need and knowing what you need when you're doing that. So that's what we're going to talk about, the branding side of things in business. So this is Lala Design, of course, does branding for businesses.
Lala for Business does branding.
Lala for Business does the branding. And
no, it's confusing.
That's all right. The wedding, you have the wedding stationery, and then you have the branding, and then you have the backdrops. So we're going to talk about the Lala for Business, which is the branding side.
Yeah.
And that will be you do sessions with clients on teaching them how to and what to look out for when creating a brand. So tell us so they've got to look for what is a brand all about, and it's not just a logo, is it? Expand on that for us.
This is the biggest misconception, I think, is people come and go, oh, I need a brand done. And then you go, okay, this is what it involves. And they're like, oh, no, I just want a logo. And I'm like, well, a brand is not just a logo. That is not what a brand is about. A brand is everything. It's all your visual touch points. So all your signage, your car signage, your packaging. It's the voice of what you put out there. So the copy that's on your website, the voice that you put on social media. It's the customer experience, and then it is the visual things like a logo, the brand colors you use, your packaging. So a brand as such is this whole entire immersive journey that your clients go through from the minute they see you right through to the end sort of experience for you. That is what your brand is. The logo is actually just one little tiny element, and it's often the last thing developed at the end of a bit of a brand journey. So a brand is like going through a strategy and going, right, who are you trying to talk to? Who are you trying to get? Whose attention do you want? Who's your ideal client? So what things do they respond to visually, like when they read copy and even with photography and everything? And then the logo is the last thing at the end of it. So I think it's really important for people to understand that you're creating a brand, it's not just a logo that you're looking for. If
Yeah.
you just want a logo, then you're not creating a brand. You're just whacking something out with no thought about it whatsoever. So when we do brands, so I do 1 hour brand strategy sessions with clients who want to do a little bit of DIYing, or they may have used someone else and want a second opinion. So I will go through all of that with them. But when they actually come on board as a branding client for us, we have packages. Those involve quite a few things. We have an onboarding process where we go through quite a detailed document. We do a 1 hour mentor session with me, so I really understand who we're trying to communicate with. And then we build all the visuals around that. My job is to guide them and work them through that process, because they don't know what they don't know. They're not branding. This is not something they've ever done before. Most people, when they go into a business, have never done design or print before, so they have no idea how the simplest change in a font or a tweak of a blue color communicates completely different languages. Yeah. So that is the difference between a brand and a logo.
I love that. And obviously the saying that people have heard before is marketing gets them in the door, branding keeps them there, because branding provides the journey that the business is on and your values, and you can portray a lot when it comes to font, colors, and your overall perception of how people see you. And people forget that. They think they just need a logo. I mean, I've dealt with many small businesses before who don't even still have a copy of their logo, and they give me a PDF of something that they had once and asked me to like make stuff from that. So people forget it's an overall thing, and it is worth the investment, 100%.
Absolutely.
Because you will use that for the lifetime of your business, or until you rebrand. People do that, but it is an ongoing thing and will be there for a long time. And the more quality that is involved and the journey involved in creating it, you'll be more involved in it too. And I feel that you back your brand and everything that comes with it. Would that be right? I can see that
absolutely. Yeah. We usually find through the journey, so we had a client pick up today. She's a brand new business, a wedding celebrant. And through that journey, she actually got to really understand what she was doing as her business as well, because often you want to do everything and appeal to everyone, but the reality is we know that that's not possible. If you're trying to appeal to everyone, you're like, what are you doing? You can't, So when you go through this branding journey, like a proper branding strategy and journey to get to the end of your logos and visuals, you often have a really clear idea of who you are as a business owner, who you want to sell to, and everything else falls away. So it almost gives you like a Bible to work by for the rest of your business, and it helps you make further ongoing decisions. So say that you needed to get staff uniforms, you know instinctively what color they need to be and what your logo is going on it. You don't have to and ah about it, because you have a brand guide and you stick to it, because that is what you've committed to and that is what you're building your business on, and that's what people remember as well. So it does two things. It helps the business owner stay within the realms of what they're trying to do and stay on that path and be very clear on their purpose. Which then means that the client that you're trying to communicate with understands exactly who you are, and that you're either exactly the business for them or you are not the business for them. Because your brand is just as important to appeal to the right people. It's also just as important that it communicates to the wrong people. Like it tells them, I'm not your brand. My Lala design one has evolved over 20 years. It's now a high-end luxury brand, and we've made everything speak that language, the wording, the photography, every touch point we put out. So it's very clear that I'm either going to be within your budget or not within your budget.
Yes, that is exactly right, because it comes down to your ideal client. You know who that is, and you know who you're talking to. So, and you want to filter out, because you don't want to be, as you said, everything to everyone, or you're nothing to no one, as they say in those things.
Yeah, or wasting your time talking to people that weren't even going to spend their money with you in the first place.
Yeah, and they're not aligned. I mean, I do a lot of work with my clients, as you know, on finding aligned customers and making sure that you're spending that time and getting the messaging, talking to their pain points, whoever that is, and making sure that you're then able to create your message in a way that hits those pain points. It's as simple as that, and your branding does that for you too. And it's the files you get along with a branding.
Let's talk about this.
People forget you need all the files to make things bigger and smaller, reversed out, back. And if you just have a little JPEG sitting there from some, wherever, you get a little logo from, that's not doing a lot, is it, when it comes to building?
That's not enough. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're looking for a logo package as such, you want, like, it's not just one JPEG that you get. You should be getting at least 4 or 5 different files. If you're not sure what they are, I actually have a brand guide shopping list on my website as a free download. So go and hit that up and get it. And it will tell you why you need all these files and what you should be looking for. So if you jump on and pay $5 or something and all you get is a JPEG, it's useless. You've wasted your $5 and your time.
Yeah,
there's a reason why it's $5. You can't do anything with it. We can't do anything. We constantly have to charge people more money than what they would have spent in the first place to rebuild a logo.
Yeah, and I've had to do that.
Files.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had to do that with clients when we've had to use an advertising agency to make their stuff, and they've said, do you have a logo? And all we can get from them is a PDF. And a lot of the time they have had to recreate the logo.
Yeah.
And that's cost them again because they didn't do it right the first time.
Yeah.
So they've had to recreate a logo.
Yeah.
So
I mean, be organized as well. Keep all your logo files somewhere safe and sound, like on a USB stick and then in a Dropbox or a Google Drive and then somewhere else so that you have them all categorized, have them all labeled, you know, everything else like that. We do all that for our clients, but you know, people just don't have that stuff when they need it, and then they're scrambling and they're paying more money for it.
No, 100%. And also you've got logos for digital, you've got logos for print, so they're different as well. So guys, go and download that freebie from Lala, because until you understand what it is you need, you won't know what it is you're looking for and the difference that comes from a $5 logo compared to a branding package. And
even getting your logo colors in 3 different formats, you know, the hex code, which is used on Canva mainly, which everyone uses, RGB, which is for your screen, and then CMYK is for printing. So if they've given you a particular shade of teal, a particular shade of pink, there should be 3 color recipes sitting under each of them, so you know exactly which one to use in Canva and which one you're going to use in print, because they don't translate over, and often people don't get that. So we call that a brand guide, where it comes with all your color recipes, all of your font names, where you use everything. So it's like the Bible of your brand that you can hand over to someone like you if you're doing marketing or a web designer or, you know, a signage guy or something. They don't have to try and figure out what the color is, and don't have to try and figure out what the font is and then get it wrong because they go, oh, well, that's close enough. You know?
Exactly. And we don't want them just using color pickers to try and find
that's how you get brand
all that time
brand inconsistency. And there's a reason why Tiffany's have their Tiffany blue as a trademark color.
Yeah.
You know?
And again, that's them setting their brand, and you know exactly what it is they stand for because of that quality. So it doesn't have to be a huge exercise, but it needs to be the right exercise with the right people. Otherwise you're redoing this process again and
the right people will make it easy for you.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And we'll give you everything in a format, in a document, in a Dropbox, in a file. You've got it, you save it. If anyone asks for it, you just give them that file and you're done. There's no chasing, there's no trying to find stuff. So next I want to talk about why it's so important. We've talked about branding and why we think people should start investing in quality and making sure they're doing the right, you know, style guides and things like that. Now, importance of visuals, run me through that. How does that work when it comes to your branding, the importance of visuals?
Oh, where do I start? Okay. Like your branding visuals, if you think about it this way, it speaks for you when you're not in the room, basically, and it's your first impression. So if you think about it this way, and it's funny because there's a particular brand that I've seen roll out that really sticks to me. There's 2 of them actually that I drive past. One is the dentist that I drive past every day, and the font they've used is what is equivalent to what you would use for a child daycare, like a baby business, like it's a children's style font. And the purple color they've used is also that as well. And I'm like, that's such a contradiction to being a dentist. You look amateurish and childish and unprofessional because you've used the wrong font and the wrong color, the wrong visual for your brand. And I'm like, I'm not going to go in there and trust you to look after my teeth or take away my pain or whatever I need done with my teeth. The other one is a chiropractor who's actually used a cartoon gorilla as his chiropractic logo. And I kind of get that it's funny, but then I'm like, most people are actually quite terrified of chiropractors because it's seen as a brutal act. If you've never been before, if the trust isn't built, and you've got a gorilla. So I connect the gorilla pushing down on my back and snapping my back or my neck, and I feel fear in me. So it actually does the reverse. So that's why your visuals of your brand, like your fonts and colors, is so important, because you're not there to stand outside underneath the gorilla sign and say, hey, I picked the gorilla because of this, this, and this, and this, and this is the reason why. No, we as the consumer drive past and make our own instant opinion on it that you know nothing about, and then we move on. It's either yes or it's a no. There's no in between. It's a yes or it's a no, and then they go down either pathway. You don't get a second chance. So that's why the brand visuals is so important.
Yeah. And it's also knowing your ideal client.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you should know that your ideal client, that doesn't resonate with, or it does, but it should, like you were talking about before, about filtering out. So, you should know and have done that work on what your ideal client needs from you, or what you're trying, or who you're trying to attract.
Yeah, I think they would resonate with. The other thing that happens with people building brands when they don't get the right guidance is they build it on their own personal choices, not their business choice, not who. They're not building the brand for the client they're trying to get in. They're actually building it because, they like this color, or they like this font, or, I want a butterfly in it, whatever, that kind of thing. And I'm like, that's got nothing to do with what you do in a business, and it makes no sense to your client who's just walking past and sees it. So that's the other thing, is taking your personal, you need to, it sounds weird, it's a very fine balance between having a little bit of personalness in it, like a bit of you, but it's not all about you at all. It's not about you. It's about building a brand for who you're trying to get to do business with. So that's the other issue that happens a lot as well.
Yeah.
That's why you need a third party to do it.
Oh, yeah. And people get way too involved. That's exactly right. And it does. You can't just make it about you. And that's marketing in general, isn't it?
That's building a business actually in general. A successful business is built on your clients, not on you.
Yeah, and your messaging, which I talk a lot about with my clients, is not based on you and how good you are.
Yeah.
Remember, it's based on how you solve a pain point for your client and why they should work with you. And your brand is the same. What is it portraying? Why should people come and be part of that? And again, we need to stop making it about us. It's very easy to do, because we want to say, well, we're the best and we do this and we do that. But ultimately, no one cares. Everyone says they're the best, and no one gives a flying rat's that you think you're the best. How are you going to solve my problem? How are you going to solve it today? And why should I work with you and not Joe Blogs, who does exactly the same thing around the corner? So people need to do that with their branding as well. And
that's what their branding does as well. The branding, they'll come down to choosing two people, and there's two ways they're going to decide, and it's going to be your brand, what it stands for. The difference between paying for me and paying for someone else will come down to my brand, and it will come down to price as well. And we know if it comes down to price, it's because you're the cheapest price, and that's no way to build a business. You can't maintain it. It's the worst way to build a business. So your brand is what will differentiate you between the two choices they've got to make.
Yep. And that's it. Like you said, people only have like that. And if they've got it down to two and they have to decide, they're going to go with the one that makes them feel. Because remember, we know people make decisions on emotion and back it up with logic later. We know that. It's a fact. Hence why people have smells in their stores that reminisce stuff. They have music playing at certain times, because we know that people buy on emotion. So again, that's where it all comes in. Now, we're talking about investing in branding. And so we want people to know what they're investing in. So run me through that. What's the importance of knowing what it is you're investing in when it comes to your brand?
I think the importance is I think it comes back down again that when you go to do it, you need to do it, but you don't actually know what it is and what the process is and everything else like that. So starting with the brand guide, shopping this is the way. And I think you just got to educate yourself. There's lots of free value information out there that we're all putting out there about what your brand is. And then I think you just got to interview the people that you want to work with as well, and you'll know if they're authentic and if they know what they're doing as well. And you just want to get it right the first time, because you only get that first impression once. You don't get to walk back in the room again, do you know what I mean? And go and do an outfit change and come back in and get everyone to change their opinions on you. You don't get to do that with your brand. So that's why you've got to get it right the first time. And, I know that people, when they start their businesses, don't necessarily have the budget to do it. So sitting down and working out where you can spend it. And I know that Canva is a great tool for small businesses to start with and everything, and it has its place, but you've got to keep in mind there's things that you don't get with those Canva logos, like you don't get the ability to trademark it or license it. You're not like, it's not an authentic logo to you because so many other people use it. And also the fact that consumers are just so much more aware what's going on. They've been on Canva, they know where that logo came from, they know that it, you know, they've seen that on Vistaprint and everything else. That so, and you're asking your ideal client to invest in you, and you haven't invested in your own business yourself. Yeah. Like, they know when you've done the work, you know, and that's where the trust comes into it as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because I think there was a period there where if I saw the same stock image lady in photography for businesses, I might shoot myself in the head, because everyone just jumped on and the same stock image got rotated around every business. And I swear I felt like I knew her, because people were just grabbing images. And that's why I know a part of your brand is also your brand photography, and making
absolutely
that you have that quality imagery. It goes with your whole brand, and can give people, not, you know, like you said, they give them confidence that they're working with someone who invests in themselves and is not using stock imagery a lot of the time to promote what they do, because people are wise to that now, and we don't want to see the person standing there pointing, or that, you know, with a laptop or whatever. We're a bit over that. So we want authenticity. So whether that comes through with your branded photography or your branded logo, etc., we want to see more of that authenticity, that you haven't just spent 5 minutes and grabbed everything and then
it's actually about seeing
thousands
more of them, more of the business owner making an effort in their business as well. So that comes down to effort and investment, doesn't it? It's like, I take myself business to actually spend the time, money and effort to go and get a proper brand visual done, to go and get proper photography done, to go and get proper copywriting done and everything else. I take myself professionally enough to go and make that investment. Therefore, you will invest in me because you know I'm a professional at what I do.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's what you're basically saying, what you're putting out there as well, particularly with like brand photography. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think that that's been something that's come about the last couple of years, that brand photography in particular. And I know a lot of the local photographers are doing those mini shoot days to allow people with limited time or budget to get even up to, you know, 5 or 10 images. And I think that's become something that is well received now. And like
we actually did something ourselves. So for Lala Design, the wedding and invitation business, we rebuilt a website about it was 2019, and we often will get photographs from wedding photographers, but they all have different filters on them and things, and we can't edit any of them as well, and we have to credit them, which isn't right because it's their photography. And I wanted a particular look on all of my images. I didn't want to use stock images, so I invested. It was a 12-hour day. I got a professional photographer, video guy, model, wedding dresses. All of my team were there, and we photographed a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of station, and it was blank and everything else. We still haven't even used 10% of that stuff. Every photograph that I put out on social media and on our website belongs to me. I can do whatever the hell I want. I can put whatever filter I want on it. I can change whatever I want on it. I own it. No one else has the right to use it. And it elevated, like, the minute people comment on it all the time, and they get to a website like, oh my God, your like photography is beautiful and this and that. And we took it ourselves, and it was so worth the effort. And I would I've got another one planned to do it again when we rebuild a new website, is to go and invest in all that again, because that's what makes you stand out.
Yeah, and even if it comes down to just, I've seen, and I have done myself, if I've been at an event or had a co-working day, just utilizing the gorgeous space you're in and taking those photos might take an extra maybe half an hour of your day, but those photos can then be used again. They're yours. They've got you in it, or they've got your vibe in it, and that doesn't cost money. It just takes some time and some effort and research on what will work. So, and then like you say, you book an appointment with you for the hour and you brainstorm ideas, and then you get inspired and you know where to go next. You don't have to be overwhelmed when it comes to that, is what I'm saying. There's help from professionals like you, and there's also there's tons of gorgeous places around now to be able to take photos that you know, show high quality without having to be professionally done until you're ready. And then I definitely recommend getting a professional branding shot done with certain images that you can use across across certain
Yeah.
parts of your business?
So I often will build for clients an actual brand mood board for them with a shoot list. So we've gone through a branding, like full branding strategy session with them, and then we've gone and done all the branding visuals, and then we're at the stage where we're going to get their website a makeover, or we're building a new website. We've engaged a copywriter that works under me so that I know what we're trying to do, and they get our brand strategy documented as well. And then I'll actually put for the photographer a list together of what the photographs need to look like, where they need to go, what size they need to be, a list of things, outfit, color choices, everything's on brand. And I provide all that for our clients so that when they're going to get their photograph, it's all, the synergy works. So when we get to the end result and everything goes out on social media and it goes out on their website, it all speaks the same language, and it's incredible. And they literally just go like peak, they just peak right up, whoop, up they go, and off they go running, you know what I mean? And even during the 1 hour sessions, because I know that people want to do DIY stuff and everything. So even during those 1 hour sessions, I will sit with you while you've got your Canva document over and kind of go to you, right, if you do this, this is what you're saying to people. This is how it's communicating if we pick this color, but if we tone it down to this color, this is what you're saying. It's a bit more calmer, it's a bit more warmer and nurturing. There's some of your key words we're trying to get across, you know, so that's what we can do during those sessions as well.
I love
there's
that.
loads of value out there.
Yeah, and that's it. You just got to look for it. And again, they'll
this
make
podcast is one of them.
And they'll make a decision based. And I mean, you have a fantastic aura in that regard, and people are drawn to you because you are authentic to your brand and your brand is consistent. So you are a testimony to exactly what you're saying anyway.
Yeah, I have to lead by example. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. And that's what you're saying. You're investing in yourself so people can see it and they're drawn to that. And I love that you give them the option of, you know, being with you in your presence for that hour to do that if they're not quite ready to take the next step. And then hopefully by the time they are, they know exactly who to come to.
And they have to expect that they're going to grow as well. Like your business should be growing, so therefore your brand will grow. And there'll be a time when you're like, okay, you know what, I'm sick of playing in the little pool, I want to go in the big pool and swim with the big kids, so I'm now going to go and do this, take off my floaties and get serious about what I'm doing. And then you already have someone that you know that you work with, that you like and trust, and then that kind of moves through. And you know, our business clients are long-term clients because we're there for them as they grow. I always think, you know, I say to them, you know, we're part of your team now, so when you're ready to move to the next stage with packaging and everything else or whatever else you need, just reach out, because that's what we're there for.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that when I did my own branding document, my logo and my branding document, you know, 6 years ago, and then when I create new parts of my business, I can go back and know that they know who I am, and they can put those different parts together. And as it grows, you have that relationship. So I love that, because people need someone in their corner who they can bring and go, look, this is what I'm doing. What do you think? And then you can have that rapport and build it up together.
This is unrealistic for businesses to have their own designer in-house like that. Most businesses don't ever need that, you know.
No, and that's when contractors and having good people on your peripherals are key to building, whether it's supporting your marketing, your digital, your branding, and then you have, like you say, Canva has its place. If you have your templates done up professionally, or you have your brand guide, then you're able to create your own without having to have that big outlay, but you've done all the hard work. And I think that's the main
and if you are going to use Canva, just pay for the professional version. Don't use the free version. Just pay the money, people, because you get so much more out of it. You put your brand guide in, it'll make your life so much easier. You'll look so much more professional. Just pay the bloody money. Yeah, and she's a Perth girl as well, so let's give her some money.
Yeah, I know she's a billionaire now, because we're all, you know, into it. So good on her, I say. I think it's like 200 and something a year or something. It's not $300 a year for the pro. And I mean, when you look at the value you're going to get out of that per day, I mean, come on now, that's
and they keep adding, they keep adding more stuff to it that you can do, you know. So I think it's a great investment. Oh
my gosh. All right. Any final tips that you can give people about branding, or just everything we've done? Rewatch it, re-listen to it, and just go download Lala's brand.
Definitely definitely get that the free branding checklist, because it'll just tell you what you need to be looking for when you're shopping around for, you know, working with someone as a brand. Check out their work. That I do have some advice as well. People need to understand there's a big difference between designing for screen and designing for print. We're seeing this a lot where we're having to go in and redo people's print items, like particularly packaging, stickers and things like that. They've got someone design it and they've done a beautiful mock-up on the screen, but then when it goes to print, the font's too small, there's not enough stroke on the actual font, you can't read it. Do you mean they've picked the wrong label for a product that needs to handle oils and all sorts of stuff like that? So there are people who have experience in certain fields. So there are just web designers or online, like, you know, sort of screen designers as such. Is very different to someone like me who does a lot of print. And then even when I do print, I do luxury finishes like, you know, letterpress and foiling and multiple layers and all sorts of stuff like that, which is not something a lot of people have experience with either, because they all had their own pain in the ass things that go wrong with it. So that would be one piece of advice I could give you as well.
I love that, because that's from experience there. So take these gems while they pop out of Lala, because they are coming from real world experience. Now, where can people find out about Lala Group and all the things underneath there? I know you have separate Instagrams, but you have a website in particular for all three, or different ones?
I do just have a one-page website. If you do type in Lala Group, that'll direct you to all three of them. I don't have another Instagram page for it because I just can't cope with that. So if you want to talk about business branding and business coaching, then you definitely head to Lala for Business on Instagram. That's where I'm the most present and you'll connect with me the most. If you're into wedding and event stationery, then head to Lala Design. And if you want photographic backdrops, head to the Creative Republic.
Oh my gosh.
But so it depends what you want.
Design. The woman knows design is all I can say, and she'll get you the best out of you. That's what. And
if I can't do it and it's not my realm or whatever it is, I know plenty of people in my industry all over the world that we can work with. I love that. Absolutely.
Well, it's been awesome to have you on the Small Business Cheerleader podcast, and I'm so glad that we've been able to chat branding, because I haven't had the chance to do that yet on the podcast. So this has been a dream, because you are my branding queen. Now, I will pop all the links, obviously, in the YouTube and in the show notes. So if you need to find Lala, you'll be able to do that. But she's also told you where to go. Well, she didn't tell you where to go, but she told you what places
where to find me.
And it's been awesome to have you. And if you need to know anything branding, go and check her out. So thank you so much.
Thanks. My pleasure.
Bye.
See ya.